All right. Busted Play Podcast, Week 7 college football predictions right here. Dylan Marsh, always joined with my brother, JD Marsh. What's going on, man?
What's going on, y'all?
All right, so you are ready for this week. I know for a fact because you are going to Oklahoma-Texas game in Dallas, which I am extremely pissed off at you. But, hey, I got to work. Whatever. Got to make money.
I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready.
I bet you are. You ready to see Baker Mayfield just whoop some tail?
Get
some revenge after that Iowa State loss. Like, okay, Jay, let's talk about that real quick. What happened? Like, how did that even happen? How did Baker Mayfield lose to Iowa State?
I really think that
I don't understand how that happened.
I think that Oklahoma was just sleeping. They were looking forward to Texas because of it's a big rivalry game. Iowa State, not really a team you want to play, get up amped for. But one thing I will say, this was a struggle. When it comes to defense, Mike Stoops, I criticize him a lot. But I give him a little leniency on this whenever...
You're giving Mike Stoops...
Listen to this. Okay, I'm not giving him a lot of leniency. I'm just saying this might have been a factor. The fact that Iowa State's starting quarterback for that game was a redshirt senior, and he had only thrown 2 passes his whole career, and they don't have any film on him. They don't know what they're going to do with him. So, the dude's never made a start, and this is where I really am pissed off at Mike about, is the fact that he was blitzing 3 players when you have a 24-10 lead.
Yeah, well, he's blitzing 3 players the entire game. Whatever. But I will say this. One thing about Iowa State, Lanning, middle linebacker / quarterback, he is an animal.
Yeah. 20
tackles against a university if no one gives a crap. And then I think he had 12 tackles against Oklahoma.
Yep.
A sack, I think. And then he also had 70 rushing yards as a quarterback. That dude is insane. I would love to see him in the NFL. And I think he will as a linebacker, even because he came in, played, 2 years as quarterback? I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Dude, that dude was insane. Lanning. I don't know his first name, but that guy was insane. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, first game, predicting we have 12
Dylan,
games?
Do you want me to tell us our records? Should I go
Okay, yeah, go ahead and tell
All
him.
right, so after Dylan going 7-2, he brought his record to 47-15, and we both went 0-1-1 in the points, the spreads, and he brought his record to 2-3-1. I brought my record to 1-4-1, but I went 6-3, bringing my record to 41-21.
So, all right. I'm still whooping you. So let's go ahead and get down to brass tacks here. All right. Number 8, Washington State's traveling to California, Berkeley. I have Mike Leach and the Cougars winning this one straight out. I honestly don't think it's gonna be a close game.
Watching how USC handled
Luke
Cal,
talks way too much.
I just can't see Washington State losing this game either. I got the Cougars.
All right, so now we're going to go with number 17, Michigan. This is an interesting game. Number 17, Michigan going in to Indiana, just like Ohio State did at the beginning of the year, and it was like a huge hyped game, which is ESPN. I've said it before. ESPN definitely hyped this game up to get ratings in for that opening season game or season opener game or whatever. But no, I think Michigan definitely. I think they're going to bounce back. I think Michigan's offense is going to show up and bounce back after that loss to Michigan State. So give me the Wolverines and Coach Jim Harbaugh.
I'm going Michigan to win this ball game, but I have a feeling that it's going to be very close and it might come down to a 1-possession ball game.
Really?
I think Michigan will find a way with its more talented roster by far.
Yeah,
we both know that their roster is way more talented than Indiana. But I think Indiana at home, it's an early start, so I think it's going to be rough for Michigan to get up after losing that heartbreaker in a monsoon to Michigan State.
Yeah, that was...
So I'm going Michigan, but I was very tempted to take Indiana here.
Okay. Well, this next game, I think is going to be about 85 or more points scored. You got number 24, Texas Tech, going into Morgantown to play West Virginia. And I'm going to take Texas Tech in this one. I'm going to give Cliff Kingsbury the benefit of the doubt. I do not think the Red Raiders defense is going to be able to stop Will Grier, whatever, how do you pronounce his last name?
Grier.
I do not think they're going to stop him at all, but I think it's just going to come to who has the ball last. And I don't know. I just have a good feeling about Texas Tech, and Cliff Kingsbury is really fighting for his job. So I think he pulls this one out, and this is going to be this is going to be the game that saves his job for one more year.
All right, I'm disagreeing with you. West Virginia is a very tough place to play, and if you don't have a defense that can slow them down, they're going to throw all over you. And I think West Virginia gets it done, and I think they win this game by 10 points.
Okay, well, I think it's going to be a great game. What time is that game at?
11 o'clock.
11, that's a morning. Oh, man, that actually kind of changes my perspective on that game. I still take Texas Tech, though. Some other reason I think Texas Tech plays better at night. You know, history has shown us that, at least. Yeah. So, all right, so now we move on to another interesting kind of game.
Another 11 o'clock game.
It's number 6 TCU, which surprises me that they're number 6. Yeah, I know that they're undefeated and all that, but that's probably just because they're top of the Big 12, not for long. But number 6 TCU going in to Kansas State, and I have TCU easy.
I got TCU easy too. It really surprised me the way that Kansas State came out and looked. I know they went to double overtime with Texas, but Texas is not a team that. Yeah, they have a good defense and they have the athletic ability, but a Bill Snyder-led team that's experienced should not be going into double overtime at home with Texas. So, obviously, something's wrong there. So, give me the Horned Frogs by 10.
All right. So, now we're moving into – well, I was extremely happy. I'm not going to say I'm a huge Hurricanes fan, but I've always liked the Miami Hurricanes, and that they finally beat Florida State. I'm really excited about that. So, coming off that win, they're hosting Georgia Tech, who at the beginning of the year, I said this is going to be the team that upsets a bunch of ACC teams, or at least gives them a run for the money. They always do. The triple option always gets it. Really, it's a very tough one for me to pick. I'm going to say that Rozier bounces back from that horrible game against Florida State, and I say Miami pulls this one out by maybe 7 to 10 point victory, just because Georgia Tech's gonna. They seem to always have their number in big games. Any team in ACC, they can just never pull out a win.
I'm actually disagreeing with you here, Dylan. From what I'm looking at, since the Tennessee game, Georgia Tech has turned their defense around, and they haven't given up more than 17 points a game since then. They're putting up over 33 points a game. And Marshall, he can throw and he can run on you. So I got Georgia Tech going into Miami, pulling off the upset.
Okay. So now we move on to the Battle of the Tigers of number.
Ooh,
what is it, number 6?
Number 10, Auburn.
Number 10. I don't know why I saw 6. Number 10, Auburn, going into the Real Death Valley, LSU. JD, you go ahead and tell me what you got on this one.
Man, this is a toss-up to me right now. I don't know why I think it's a toss-up. I believe it's a toss-up game because Auburn is 0-8 in the past 8 meetings down in Baton Rouge. They have not beaten LSU down in Baton Rouge. I'm very, very tempted to take LSU in this game.
Yeah.
Auburn is playing absolutely spectacular right now. They absolutely shredded Missouri after coming off a disappointing performance against Mercer, winning only 24-10. They shred Missouri on the road. They absolutely dismantle Mississippi State at home, who dismantled
Big
LSU.
time.
And then they absolutely ripped Ole Miss a new one last week. But for some reason, there's something about playing in Baton Rouge against LSU whenever they got some confidence now after going into Florida.
Yeah, that's what Troy said. There's nothing like playing in Baton Rouge.
Man, I
got you. I got you on that one. I'm sorry.
I can't. I don't know who I'm gonna pick, Dylan.
All right, I'll go ahead and make it easy for you.
I'm gonna go LSU. I'm taking LSU here.
You're taking unproven Ed Orgeron.
Yes, I'm
taking Auburn. I think their defense. I think both defenses are extremely great. I think Auburn's is right there with LSU's, but Auburn's Auburn's offense. Auburn's offense is just a lot better.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand what you're saying. That it's in Death Valley.
I'm really going off right now, Dylan. I'm really going off a gut feeling.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
what it is.
I understand, but no,
my mind is telling me that Auburn will probably win this football game, but
what does your heart say, JD? Your heart says
my heart doesn't care about
your
this
heart
game.
says live purple, love gold.
No, it does not.
Love purple, live gold.
No,
whatever
it does
their
not.
saying is. But now I'm going off the sheer point of LSU. They went into Florida and beat Florida, which people, it proved to them that LSU is still a good football team. But just imagine it's either going to go one or two ways, and honestly, LSU fans are the. And I've talked about this, and I've told LSU
Dylan, you
fans,
can get a ticket to this game for $36.
which is strange because this was exactly what I'm about to say. Is that I think it depends on the LSU fans because living in LSU, when LSU's high up, Death Valley is the toughest place to play. But whenever they go into Death Valley and they lose at home to Troy, how are the fans going to bounce back? Are they going to come back and be the Death Valley that everyone's scared of, or are they going to be the Death Valley of whenever LSU was down or tied? What were they? They were down by 7 to Troy going into the fourth quarter, and like half the stadium's empty.
They were down by 17, I think.
Oh, was it 17?
24
Well, still,
to
the fact that their fans don't stick around for a fourth quarter comeback.
They don't stick around whenever they're blowing a team
That's
out
what I'm
either.
saying. Like LSU fans, they really confuse me, and I'm not putting the LSU fans into perspective for this game at all because I really don't think they're going to bounce back. Because, like you said, $36 a ticket, that means they're just begging people to come in. So, I'm taking Auburn on this one. I don't think the fans are going to be anything. I don't know what to say. I'm just trying to think of the word. It's not going to be necessary to kind of put the fans into the game because I don't see them being a factor. There it is. They're not going to be a factor. Why did I not think of that? So, all right, JD, I'm going to let you start off with this one. This is a game that you are going to. This is going to be your third Oklahoma-Texas game, as I've gone to 2. We both went together. But you're going to your third that you won off of a bet. Someone bought your way to this game from last year's game because Texas fans are idiots. And but you already know mine, of course, because Texas, in my eyes, they're going to lose every single game they play. So I definitely have Oklahoma in this game. But so go ahead and write that down. But this is all you. Who do you have?
I'm going Oklahoma.
Oh, of course.
The way that Baker Mayfield and the Sooners play when they come off a loss is they really just absolutely dismantle anybody that they play. And Texas better watch out. But I think it's going to be a very good game. But I think Baker's going to finally come out again and show why he has a damn good chance of winning the Heisman this year, in my opinion. So I got the Sooners winning by 10.
That's what's wrong with you, JD. Heisman, and all I care about is playoff. Man, I honestly, every time Oklahoma has a player win the Heisman, what happens? We go to the championship and we get our butts handed to us. Jason White, Sam Bradford, that's it. See, Adrian Peterson almost should have won the Heisman. We got our butt spanked by USC.
Yep.
And it's just like, and then the team, our biggest win, honestly, I say our biggest win against Alabama in 2013, we had no big names on the team at all besides Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, that is true.
And,
we had Stryker.
Yeah, that's the game that made Eric Stryker.
Yeah, that is.
And he was a freshman. But anyway, this is just make the playoff. Don't worry about awards, all that stuff. Even though I know that's what Baker's doing, I'm just telling you that for some reason because you have an impact on a game. Well, you actually might have an impact on a game this week, so I'll go ahead and tell you that. So, all right, but you're gonna be sitting.
I'm gonna be sitting right in the middle of Texas.
We went to Waffle House before he came here, and while we were walking in the door, he goes, "Dude, I really hope I don't get jumped." I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? All right, well, hey, it could happen. But I believe in your fist of fury. So, all right, now we're moving on. And now we have non-ranked competition. Texas A&M going in.
I thought this game was very interesting.
That's why I put it on. It is. You have Kevin Sumlin improving his team, not wanting to lose his job, going in to Florida, who just lost to LSU at home. And Gator fans aren't happy. A&M fans definitely aren't happy. But I think this game, because A&M now 4-2, going up against a 3-2 Florida team. You know, when I look at this, I see two offenses that can score.
What are you talking about? Florida can't score.
No. I'm not talking about like Big 12 scoring. I'm talking about like the SEC type of scoring. You know, like 20, 23, 25 points a game against good defenses.
Yeah.
So, but I think the athleticism is definitely on Texas A&M's side, and I'm gonna take Texas A&M on this one. I don't know. Kevin Sullivan's a good coach. He's just not a good leader, I guess you could say. I don't know. I have a feeling he'd be one of the best coordinators in the country, kind of like a Lane Kiffin type of thing. But when it comes to him controlling the whole team, I don't know. You know, Johnny Manziel made him, and he's just been on that pedestal for a while. Now he's starting to fall down from it. So, but no, I'm taking A&M.
I'm going Florida here. I think that playing in the swamp is just going to be too much for Kellen Mond, a true freshman. I'm really going off another gut feeling. My mind's telling me to take Texas A&M, but my gut's telling me to take Florida.
Understandable.
So I'm going with my gut.
Understandable. Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now this one, which I'm not sure why you put this one in there. Probably just because it's Ohio State. But
I mean, it's at Nebraska.
Yeah, I know. But what has Nebraska done since 1999?
That is true. I mean, I'm going Ohio State, but I think it's going to be closer than people think.
It's Ohio State.
Because Nebraska plays better at home.
That's true. But do they play better at home when they play Ohio State?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's the question right there. Put me down for the Buckeyes.
Oh, I got the Buckeyes, too.
All right, so now we're moving on. Number 21, Michigan State, coming off that big win against Michigan, their rival, in Michigan, in the freaking just the rainforest monsoon, going in to Minnesota to face PJ Fleck and rowing the boat. Minnesota Gophers and that mascot. Do not mess with the mascot. That dude will lay you out. But JD, give me the Michigan State Spartans in this one.
All right.
You know, I like what PJ Fleck's doing, but really, you know, he freaking just led Western Michigan to a freaking Cinderella season last year. Had great players, but I think it's going to basically how long it took him at Western Michigan. It's going to take him that probably that long at Minnesota to get that team to where he wants it to be. In a couple of years, watch out for Minnesota because he's a great recruit. He's a great recruiter. But a couple of years, keep an eye out for Minnesota. But I'm not going to risk it right now. I'm going to take Sparty.
I'm going Sparty too. I think Mark D'Antonio is just going to outcoach PJ Fleck here. All respect to Minnesota. They do have a pretty decent football team this year, but I think Michigan State's going to be riding on cloud nine this week, and they're going to get the victory.
Yeah, that was a big win. Like no one
picked them.
No one was picking them.
Well, I picked them to win last week.
Well, JD is the one genius in college football that picked Michigan State to win. So no one forget that. So now, Utah going into Los Angeles to play number 13 USC in the Coliseum. Primetime, ABC. I say Sam Darnold actually shows he's a decent quarterback, and I say USC wins by a decent margin of like maybe 14, 17 points because, I don't know. I think Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. He's just so overrated. I honestly do not think he's that great of a quarterback, but I'm definitely taking USC and Sam Darnold in this one.
Not so fast, my friend. Give me the Mormons. Give me the Mormons.
That's BYU.
Utah's a Mormon state,
I know
bud.
that, JD, but BYU is the Mormons of college football. Utah is the Mormon state of America.
All right, well, I'm going Utah here.
Not everyone who goes to Utah is a Mormon.
Utah, I mean, their only loss was to a very good Stanford team, in my opinion.
Freaking Mormons.
And it was a very close game. They only lost by 3 at home. And I think they're hungry. And like you said, Dylan, I think USC is overrated.
Yeah.
And I'm taking the Utes here. I think they get it done on the road.
All right, so now we have another one of the most overrated teams in college football that have beaten Oklahoma to get to where they were, kind of like USC, is the Boise State Broncos going in to San Diego to play the San Diego State Aztecs. And I have the Aztecs in this one because Penny's just one of those special running backs. Definitely he honestly might be the best running back in the nation with, in front of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley. I can never say it right. Because he has the offensive line of San Diego State, and I think he has what Marshall Faulk had at San Diego State. This guy reminds me of Marshall Faulk when I watched him 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
I looked at him and my first thought was Marshall Faulk. And before you look at me, yes, I'm only 22 years old, but I loved the Rams back in early 2000s, and I know what Marshall Faulk looked like. Trust me, I watched them all the time, but. I really like Penny in this one. I think he has a big game. I say Sandy. Give me the Aztecs.
All right. I'm disagreeing with you. I'm going Boise State here. Boise State just has a knack when they play a team that they're supposed to lose to. They somehow find a way to keep it very close and sometimes pull it out. And I think they pull it out this week. I got the Broncos.
All right. So last game we have our last game before we pick the spread. We have Oregon going into number 23 Stanford. And, I'm really not sure who I'm going to pick in this one right now. I think this is going to be a real toss-up.
Well, I know who I'm picking. I'm going Stanford here.
Easily.
Yeah, over the years, they have just dominated this matchup. One time in the past, I think 10 years, Oregon has gotten Stanford.
Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
And that's different. Yeah, the reason I'm going to pick the Cardinal is solely on Bryce Love and how a great season he's having. And he's probably number 3 running back in the country behind Saquon and Penny. So, he's really good. He's got 1,200 yards already on 9 touchdowns on only 118 carries. But Oregon's also got Royce Freeman. I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. Defense. Stanford's known for their defense, but I think it's going to be a very high scoring game because Oregon really doesn't have a great defense anymore. So, all right. So now we're going to pick the spread. JD, this is your thing.
All right. So the first one of the two that I've picked this week, we have Arkansas going into Tuscaloosa, and they are a 30-point underdog. Dylan, do the Crimson Tide win by 31 or more, or 29 or less?
Tide win by 30 or more.
I'm right there with you. Like
what I saw, what Alabama did to
Ole Miss, because I sat there, I
gave so much praise to Shreveport's own Shea Patterson, thinking that he actually might find a way to cover the spread against Bama. No, and after I saw that, I don't think there's any way. Jared Cornelius is gone. Their top receiving target is gone. Yeah. I don't see them. I don't see Arkansas getting within 30.
All right, well, I'm going right there with you, Dylan. Same points that you made. I'm right there with you. The last one I have picked is the Baylor Bears, who are 0-5, played Oklahoma strong, played Kansas State strong until the very end, and Kansas State ended up pulling away by 13. But they are going to Stillwater, and they are a 25.5-point underdog to the Cowboys, Dylan. So
I have Baylor covering.
You got Baylor covering.
Yeah. Yes, like I've said all year long, Oklahoma's weakness, long bombs downfield, and you've seen Baylor do that against every other team they've played, really, before their I'm talking about after the collapse of their beginning. Yeah. But they go into Oklahoma State, yes, Boone Pickens, been there, one of the loudest places I've ever been, one of the smallest stadiums I've been to, but honestly one of the loudest. I don't know. It just seems every time Oklahoma State goes in and plays at home, they always seem to win most of the time, but it always seems to be close. So I have Baylor coming in within 25.5, but honestly, I'll say it's maybe a 10-point game, 10 maybe.
That's
14.
what I'm thinking. 17. But I got Baylor getting within covers.
All right, so Jay, real quick, upset of the week. Who is it?
Upset of the week. I picked it, and I think I'm gonna go Georgia Tech over Miami.
Georgia Tech over Miami, huh?
Yep.
All right. Well, JD, I'm going to sit here and say that, when I say upset of the week, I didn't really mean to say that. I meant to say scare of the week. And my scare is going to be Syracuse hosting number 2 Clemson. When I say scare, I mean going into fourth quarter.
14?
That or just going into the fourth quarter, down 10, down 7, up 3, something like that. going into fourth quarter, and then Clemson is going to run away with it in the fourth. So that's what I have. So we'll definitely look forward to that. But all right, that's everything. JD, of course, awesome. Everyone watching, thanks for joining, and God bless.
Peace.